Hi, I'm Brian Stevens, and today we have a special podcast, and I gave my name because Elizabeth really gets mad at me when I forget to say my name. I figured they're on the podcast. They know who I am, Brian Stevens. I don't know, but we have a special edition today because we're just going to be doing a Q&A off of questions we received over the last few weeks, and I really want to try to get to as many people's questions and be as helpful with what your needs are, not just with what I want to talk about all the time. So I'm going to put our producer on the air because we're doing this on YouTube now too.
Correct.
So we put it on YouTube. Most people listen to it on Spotify and Apple and all that stuff. But you're here, you're present, and you're going to submit questions, and I'm going to do my best to answer them. And we'll see how we're going to go. Is that right?
Yep. Let's roll.
All right. Well, let's roll, producer. Go ahead.
So, Brian, why are families leaving schools when they say they're satisfied with where their child is?
Great question. Oh my goodness. And we know that this is true because our latest poll. And we have another poll coming out, Texas poll coming out soon. And the national poll says that even though people are satisfied, they still shop. And I think that in order to think about this is just because somebody is satisfied with their choice, be it a restaurant, be it a school district, be it a car, doesn't mean they're not interested in something that they perceive as better. And so as Americans, we're always shopping for the next better thing because we want to be better. And I think that's one of the things that's really great about our country is that there are a lot of people here for the World Cup. We're shooting this during the World Cup right now. So if you're not into soccer, you better get into soccer. It's great. Is that people from other countries are coming over here and they're like shocked. They're like, America's great. It's innovative. They have huge stores. You can get anything you want fast. It's because we're an innovative country. And from a marketing standpoint, we haven't marketed ourselves to other countries very well because when they get here, they're realizing that we have a lot of choices and a lot of options. And that's what Americans want. They want options. They want choices. And so even if they're satisfied, they're still going to shop. And I think that what I love about this question is the person knows that satisfaction alone is not enough. And I think that that's kind of the way we should think about this is satisfaction is not enough. People still want to go try somebody else's breakfast. They may want to go try another school, and it's our job to make sure they stay with the best schools, public schools. Okay. Yeah.
And I think that leads to a next good question. How should public schools compete in a world where families now have more choices and they can stay competitive?
Yeah. Well, first off, I think that public schools, and you realize they are competitive. Let me start with the premise that you are competitive. You are awesome. And if you don't believe that you're awesome and you don't believe you're competitive, you're not going to compete anyway. And you've got to get over that first emotional barrier is that you are awesome. Now, how do you do it? Well, the first thing you have to do is decide. You have to choose to compete. You have to choose to tell the world how awesome you are, right? And I think that that's the first stumbling block that stops people is that they start going, what do we have to advocate? What do we have to sell? What's really great about us? And I would say focus on your individual schools. People pick a school, not a district. They stay because of a teacher or a principal or a front desk worker. So these are all very localized choices. But I think the first thing to decide is, are you going to start sharing with the world why you're great? And that's a really hard first step, but that's the first step most districts have got to get to because that's the big change from the past, right? All right. I didn't say I'm going to try to keep my answers brief, but I'm going to try to keep my answers brief. All right. Sorry, Elizabeth, keep firing away.
And then another interesting question for someone that is a supporter of school choice and says that they like school choice, what's something that they should know that is actually the reality of school choice in our current level playing field that we hope we are all on?
Well, that's a mouthful. That's a big, thick question, but let me try to see if I can simplify it in my own little brain, which is right now, school choice as it's designed in every single state isn't fair. We don't have fair rules. We have a different, what I like to characterize this, and I don't know if I came up with this myself or I heard it from somebody. So if I heard it from somebody and it's yours, let me know. I'll give you credit. But we're building right now nationwide 2 separate school systems. A public school that's for everyone, and then the school choice system. They're not the same. They don't have the same rules. It's unfair. I don't like it. We need to try to change that. So if you're an advocate for public school, realize that you can be cool with school choice if it's done fairly. It's not right now. No state in our union is doing it fairly. They have very different rules, different systems, that makes it harder for public schools to compete. It doesn't mean you can't. And so if you're a proponent and you believe that free public school for all students is a public good, then you need to work on changing the rules in your state to make it fair. You're not going to end school choice. Don't try to fight school choice. Don't try to get rid of school choice. It's here. It's not going to change. It's going to grow. That's the new reality. What we need to do is have equal rules. If you're a school choice if you're public school advocate, you should want fair rules. If you're a school choice advocate, you should want fair rules. If you're a private school advocate, you should want fair rules. Why? Because it's what benefits all students. And this is the thing that really grinds my gears, is that people say the reason why we're doing competitive school choice is for the children. Well, if it's for the children, shouldn't you want the best education no matter what? And people go, of course I do. I just think it's blank school. It's X school, it's Y school. Maybe, but if one, you don't really know what their standardized testing is because they're not required to do standardized test in your state. Like private schools that take state money aren't required to, or charter schools are on a different testing regimen, or they can throw standardized testing out. But the public schools can't. It's really not about all the children. It's really not about getting all the kids up to the same level of becoming awesome adults. That should be the rule across the board, but we're not like that. We have our little pets. I am mine. I'm totally biased for public schools. I'm totally biased. I get it, right? I believe that that's the right choice for all kids, but I still want them to do better. And how can they do better as a school if we're not looking at them the same? Like, we're not comparing apples to oranges. We're really comparing like apples to a car. They're just totally different rules. And it's so hard to compare them. And it's hard for parents to make an informed choice if they're not looking at them equally. So I think if you're an advocate, that's what you ought to start with.
And then Vic's next question actually comes from a district, and they're asking, so should we be treating our parents and families as customers?
Yes. Next question.
Okay.
I mean, yes, they are. They are your customers. I mean, doesn't mean they're always right. Just because they're a customer that came up in the 80s, like the customer's always right. No, they're not. I've been a terrible customer before. You have to. Every single one of you. Everybody listens, been a good customer and a bad customer. It just happens sometimes. You're over demanding, you want more things, you want unrealistic expectations, whatever. But they're our customers, they're our clients, and we need to serve them. They're our families too, but we need to serve them, yeah.
And then with all of your experience with public school districts, what is, in your opinion, the number one driver that determines what school a parent sends their child to?
Emotions. I mean, it's weird, but, and I did a whole podcast on this, I think before. I can't remember if I gave a speech or did a podcast on it, but if I did I'll do a podcast. So Elizabeth, why don't you look and see if we've done one that's in the hopper, but yeah. People are led by emotions, not facts and data. I mean, we like to say we are, but we're not. It's a very emotional decision, and it's about your child, or your grandchild or whatever. And you want the best for them, whatever that means to you. So it's completely emotion driven. Now we need facts and data to support the emotion decision, but the issue is that makes it so hard is there's been a narrative out there that all private education is good and all public schools are bad. And it's a ridiculous premise. It's a ridiculous premise because we know when we say it like that, no, that's not true. Some private schools are great. Some aren't. Some religious schools are great. Some aren't. Remember, like, let's go back in my history. Before we dug into just representing public schools, I did crisis management. Now, I did crisis management for churches and schools and charter schools and private schools and public schools and businesses. Where did we have the most issues? Yes, everywhere, across the board. No particular religion was worse or better than the other one. I represented them all. I got into all of them. And if you think your religion didn't have some of this crisis management, somebody doing something they shouldn't have been done, they did. It happened. I seen it. Private schools, did they have chaos and bad things? Yes, absolutely. Did public schools? Yes, absolutely. They're all good and they're all bad, right? You need to find the ones that are the best fit for your family. But let's don't act like one is better than the other just across the board. It's like saying all police officers are bad. No, they're not. All soldiers are bad. No, they're not. There are some. There are some bad apples, and we need to get rid of them bad apples. All teachers are crazy. No, they're not. How dare you? It's just all or nothing. It's a lazy argument. It's a lazy argument. But people make buying decisions all the time with less information than we'd like. It's our job to present them the most possible. So I think people are led by their emotions, and we need to get in there and help with that.
So then going along with that question, we have another one. Would you say that schools are competing against themselves, or they're competing against the changing expectations that families now have in this new world of all of these new things that they're being faced with?
Man, I think I can guess who that's from. It's a deep question, and so are they competing against themselves, or are they competing with everybody else? Once again, my simple answer is yes, both. They are. But the first thing they need to do is stop competing with themselves. They need to realize they are special. They've got some really great things going for them. Every school I found, there's something cool. There's something unique. There's something going on. And the public schools just beat the tar out of themselves. They have we're not good enough, or I'm not allowed to do that, or shouldn't do that. It happens all the time. It's a shame, because there's always something special. There's something special about every school. And even homeschool, even virtual schools, there's always something unique and cool. And maybe that reaches that particular audience, right? You're not going to get everybody, but it doesn't mean you're not awesome. And it doesn't mean you don't need to present your best foot forward, right? So the first thing they have to do is get out of their own way. And they have to be okay. Let me give you this example. Let me make it a little more concrete. We'll go on a secret shopping tour. And we'll go through a public school. And I think it looks awesome. It's colorful. There are kids' paintings. They got a little child ambassador walking around with a parent telling us what's awesome. And then they start pointing out all their problems because they're honest. Now, ignore the old carpet. This old carpet needs to be replaced. We didn't have money to do it. I didn't notice the carpet until they said something. Man, I wish that the ball field was updated. But I mean, they just sit there and they give me the pros and the cons. But if you go to a private school, they don't talk about the cons. They just talk about the pros because they're trying to sell you, where it feels like the public school people are trying to be overly honest. We don't do that in marketing and advertising campaigns, all right? Like, if the carpet's bad, I'll notice it, but you don't have to point it out to me. You don't have to just highlight the negatives all the time. Well, I got to be honest. I didn't tell you to be dishonest, but you also don't have to. Man, my wife does this to me all the time. We'll be at a restaurant and we'll be eating. Have a lovely evening with my wife. And she'll be like, man, that noise is driving me crazy. I didn't notice the noise until you mentioned it. Now I can't stop hearing the whack, 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 whack from the fan. And she does it all the time. Stop pointing out the things I didn't notice. So I think that's kind of a failed issue when we say we're competing against ourselves. And so I would correct that first and then go out there and present. All right.
And then if you
that was a good question. I forgot about how annoying it is sometimes to go out to dinner with my wife. I forgot. It's driving me nuts. She notices everything. I'm sorry. What's the next question?
If you could give a superintendent or district leadership advice about what they should be doing as they're preparing for their next school year to be competitive, what's one thing that they can be instituting into their district? Yeah, well, let's once again, I'm going to try to give simple steps that I think most people foundationally miss this. I'm going to pull out a pad. I'm going to pull a pad of paper out. I'm asking my C-suite, pull a pad of paper out. I'm asking my principals, pull a pad of paper out. Whoever's in the room, I'm going to go, write down why we're awesome. I want to see 5 bullets. I want to see 10 bullets. I'm going to give you 10 minutes. Write down why we're awesome. Then I'm going to liquidate them down to 3. I'm just going to delete till I get down to the top 3 drivers. And then I'm going to say, okay, that's it. That's what we're doing. We're going to let everyone know the top 3 things why that individual school is awesome. And every school should have their top 3. The district should have their top 3 too. But let's get down to that first. Let's admit that we got some cool stuff going on. And then let's be disciplined enough to cut all the fat. And it's really hard. Like, we're building a new website right now for our company. We have so many awesome taglines. Like, there's hundreds of them. It's so cool, but I'm like, that's not who we are. That's not who we are. That doesn't tell a story. That's true, but it's too complex. So once you have it, simplify. No big $5 words. Make it simple and then start to get it out. I know that sounds simple, but it's just, we're not doing enough of that. You give me a call, I'll help you.
It's harder to do than you think. Like we did an exercise the other day, didn't we, with our leadership team, where you did the pyramid of excellent. You put 10 words down. I guess it kept cutting down. So you end up with the one word of what you want to be as a leader.
Yes.
It's hard, isn't it?
It is. It's very hard.
Go through the exercise. Go through the exercise first. Get your people on it also, okay?
Yep. And then, Brian, we have another one about our current trends we're seeing. So if we continue to go the way that we are in 10 years from now, what is public education going to look like?
Here's my prediction, my crystal ball. Oh, wait, my crystal ball. You can see it if you're in the camera. Well, wait, I have to do that. I have to do the one video. It's right there. My crystal ball. I can see the future in it. I saw the future earlier. It's just predictive analysis. It's game theory. And so let's game it out.
Okay.
The game is, once somebody has a choice, they don't want to lose it. So they're going to want the choice, and it's not going anywhere. And I'm a little concerned that I think there's two future roads. One is we create two separate systems that are not equal. One is completely biased, gets easy money with lack of transparency. They get to do critical thinking. They get to do the Wild West. And we kind of started doing that with charter schools about 15 years ago. Some of it worked, some of it didn't work. But I hope what we do is create one system where the parents actually have a real choice. Where, yeah, they may get a voucher, they may get credits, but if we had the same rules, I think what will happen is, of the 50 million or so public schools students across the nation, about 50 million, it's going to go down a little bit because of birth rates. So right now it's about 85%, give or take, in public schools, and that number's been drifting down. I think it'll stabilize somewhere around 60%. So yeah, public schools are going to have to be a lot more competitive. They're going to be a little bit smaller than they are now, but they don't have to be a lot smaller. But they have to go and advocate for themselves. They have to understand that they're a business now. They have to understand that their whole team, top to bottom, from the front desk worker to the bus driver to the groundskeeper to the superintendent to the school board member, have to all believe that they've got a good product and they want to offer it up for sale. Right? You don't have a monopoly anymore. And if it drops much below that number, if it drips to under 50%, we're going to have real problems because that bureaucracy is still in place. And the funding issues are just going to make educating those kids. We're going to leave a lot of children behind if we don't fix the system as it stands right now. We're going to leave a lot of children behind.
So then with that, what do parents really misunderstand between the difference when they're choosing a public school over a charter school or a private school or even a micro school when they're picking where they want their kid to go?
Yeah, so I can't answer that because every family is unique and every family has gained different information. Some families have got a gazillion things and they are tight. And some are really busy trying to feed their families and haven't really dug into their choice. And I don't know, but I think the districts need to know. I think the schools need to know what their parents are going through. I think you need to do a survey. I think you need to ask them, what do you know? What do you not know? But be careful of this. Assumptions will be the death knell. Because if you assume that people know that you have a bunch of extracurricular activities, if you're going to assume that they know that you have a STEM program, if you're going to assume that they know you have high graduation rates, all these other things, you're going to lose. So I would caution you not to make any assumptions on what they know, which is literally what I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to assume, you did not catch me. You tried to catch me in an assumption about what people think. I don't like to operate that way. I like to go get the data. I like to know what they know. And then I want to augment that with what I want them to know. Let me say that again. I don't know if that was profound or not, but it sounded pretty good.
That was profound.
I know, but it's true. Because if you make an assumption in your communication, you're missing it because everybody's different, man. I'm a crazy person. You can never figure out where I want you to go and what I think. I purposely, when I'm talking to you, poor Elizabeth, everyone, poor Elizabeth, is that I will ask questions and I will seed it to put them in a certain direction. If they fall down that path, the primrose path, so to speak, it's the wrong path. I want to know what you really think, so I'm never going to let you know what answer I want. And it's probably hard on people. Tough. Because I really want to know the truth. I want to know the curiosity. So I'm going to dance around. And you really got to find out what people want. And the problem is a lot of surveys and a lot of questionnaires, people will lie to you. And I read somewhere the other day that, God, I don't know where this was, it was Wall Street Journal or something, but they said that in like employee surveys, so if you're doing a survey of your teachers and staff, half of them are going to lie to you. Half of them are going to lie to tell you what they think you want to know. So it's really hard to figure out what people really know and to get rid of assumptions, right? Because employees don't want to get in trouble. Parents don't want to get yelled at. So I gave an Uber driver the other day 5 stars because I don't know why he did not do a 5-star Uber thing, man. He just didn't. He was on his iPad while we were driving up the mountain. I was terrified. I was like, will you please put that? I didn't want to say anything, but I also don't want to give the guy a 2-star rating and harm the way he feeds his family. Maybe that was a one-time issue. I don't know the man. And so just watch assumptions. Watch assumptions.
So speaking of assumptions and how we need to look and approach our families, how important is a district's trust with their individual families to the success of keeping that child all the way through their education?
Man, you've come full circle. That first question was a satisfaction number, which is maybe not important, but trust is everything. And, I love Americans, man, because we're very forgiving. We're very forgiving of a problem. It's not about the issue. It's about the recovery that matters. And all too often we fail at the recovery. And so I'm going to use a sports analogy is if you hit a golf ball, you're playing golf and you hit the ball in the woods, game's not over. It's how you get the ball out of the woods that's important. And so a student gets bullied or a student fails. I know we're not allowed to say fail anymore. They're held back. That means fail. They failed, but they didn't really fail. We held them back. Maybe the word fail is not the right word. We held them back for their own good. We held them back because it will make them a better adult. And I don't think that we approach it that way. We say, we're sorry, your kid's not ready for the next grade. Instead of saying, hey, the best thing for your child is to have them repeat this year because it's going to make them an awesome adult. They need a little bit more time for this material. It's going to make them great. It's going to be a little embarrassing. It's going to be a little weird. They're not going to like it. You're not going to like it. I'm not going to like it. But it's the right thing. And that's all about the recovery, isn't it? Child got bullied, but did we fix the situation? Did we resolve it? Did we help them? That's how you build trust. Trust is in the recovery. That's where all the opportunities are. If we just get together every week and hang out, it's nice. Familiarity's nice. I'll start to trust you kind of, but boy, do I know you in the recovery of the issues that we face together. And that's how you build trust. Trust is everything. If they trust you, they'll stay with you forever. It's all about trust. Yeah, and that's where real loyalty comes from. I mean, love is feigning. Trust is really stable. So I think it's trust, and I think we have time for one more.
Yes, and on the topic of recovery, how does a district change their story from we're losing students to we're recovering students?
Well, one, I don't think I would address either. I wouldn't want to tell that story at all, either way. What I would want to do is an advocacy story. I want to have you advocate for why you're rock stars, like why you're awesome and why you're great. The students will follow. Yeah, you got to have a campaign, and you got to do. And if you get more students, you should tell people that because winning begets winning, right? Success begets success. But you have to start off with the premise that you're awesome and that you're going to start selling it. And yes, you're going to run a student recruitment campaign. Yes, you're going to have maybe partner with us or your own internal team or whatever. But start being proud and excited because we spent 20 years just beating the tar out of public education, just tearing it down. And so I don't want you in a defensive posture. And the whole question begs defensiveness. And I don't blame them. I get why they ask the question. You're defensive because you've been getting beat up. And I want you not in a fighting mode. I want you in a open-armed, excited mode that your district is awesome. And I want you to advocate for it. So let's don't worry about the story difference between, I don't want to talk about that we're losing students. Don't. Talk about your awesome programs. Talk about your awesome teachers and your awesome students, your awesome staff, and how you're really helping students. And let the campaign worry about the campaign. Right? So I hope it helps. We wanted to try this. We don't do this often enough. If people like this, let us know. We'll do more of it. And obviously send your questions to Elizabeth. And I'm sure she'll link all that and being in the podcast notes. I kid you not. I listen to a lot of podcasts, but I don't think I've ever submitted a question. How does a person submit a question on a podcast?
They can email me or they can go to our Instagram and they can DM and send in all of their questions.
DM, that sounds dirty. It does. It sounds bad. Is that bad? What does that mean?
I'm sure you would stop.
What does that mean?
Sending a message.
Is it direct message? Is that what it stands for?
Direct message.
Direct message. Okay.
On Instagram.
I don't like private stuff. I like to be transparent. Direct message. Okay. What's your email?
Elizabeth at Caissa, CAISSA. PS.com.
Wow, that's a terrible communicator. I'm just teasing her. Okay. So we're going to do this more, but obviously if your clients or whatever, you know how to get, you send me the question, she'll find it too. And we'll try to do some more of this. I hope it helps. All right. Thanks everybody. Bye.